Hey guys, lepedaler back with another video. I just want to take some time to discuss what a lot of us cyclists are experiencing around the world amongst the current situation that we're all facing because of the coronavirus. So let's get right into this topic. With this new situation, all races, all cycling events, and all group rides have been either postponed or canceled for the immediate future. My goal in this video is to give you guys suggestions that I've implemented right now in my cycling training and that has helped me adapt to the current situation that we're faced with. Before I share my suggestions, I would ask if you guys drop a like on this video and subscribe to the channel. It really helps with the growth of the channel and helps me put out content. I'm really trying to build a cycling community on this channel from beginner all the way to elite. And it takes viewers like you to really support the channel and get that going. So if you could do that, I'd really appreciate it. So many cyclists, including myself, were doing a pre-race block of training, meaning that it was no longer base, but we weren't trying to peak for the season. We were getting ready to peak for the season, depending on when your first events are. My first race was scheduled for mid-April, so I was getting ready just to, top off my fitness for the first block of racing. Now with the current situation and all future events or immediate events being canceled or postponed, there's no point of doing that. So I've tailored my training back to more base just because I don't know when the next event will be. So if I don't know, there's no point of increasing my fitness and increasing my fatigue as well. So right now I've just tailored it back and I'm going to be focusing a lot more on zone 2 work, which is base cycling training. So if you were one of those cyclists like myself that was getting ready to the race season, I would say you guys have a good level of fitness. I myself do too right now. So it's not, the end of the world. We will maintain that fitness as long as you do put some moderate amount of effort on the bike. And for the people that were getting ready for the upcoming season, those spring cyclists that, start right in springtime, my suggestion for you guys would be, this is the perfect opportunity for you guys to set a schedule, a training schedule that you guys can really stick to and stay committed to. So, you have time now to really focus and see what times, what type of training that you can do. This is the perfect time for a lot of cyclists to focus on specific training goals instead of, maybe focusing on your FTP or, one of the typical things that a lot of us cyclists do for the racing season. Maybe you want to, focus on another goal. So one of the goals I might want to focus on is a lot longer rides. I want to get into gravel, as I've probably mentioned before on this channel, and this would be the perfect opportunity to do maybe some long 4 or 5 hour rides on the trainer. Now I know that sounds really long and crazy, but it is possible and I probably will do it. Now, all this training that I'm talking about should be done indoors because of social distancing, depending on where you are and what your government says. I only recommend really doing solo rides as it's not encouraged to be in group settings. For places that are in full quarantine, the only thing that you can do in terms of training is indoors. So an indoor trainer, I would suggest a smart trainer is your best friend at the moment and should be purchased right away. I started racing on Zwift recently. I usually don't race on Zwift just because I do have a structured training plan that I follow and I really don't want to deviate that for the outdoor season. But because of the whole situation and things being canceled, I said, hey, I'll give it a chance. So there's actually on Zwift a race series that, in real life, in my area, we have a weekly crit series and a lot of the people that go to that event actually go to this race on Zwift, and it's actually run by my old club that I used to race for. So it's a really good opportunity to race against fellow people that you actually know in real life, and just increases the morale. You get a really good workout and you feel somewhat connected. Obviously it's virtual, but I think that's better than nothing, especially with the times that we face right now. So I think e-racing, just getting online on Zwift, riding online is such a good thing because it increases that social connection that I think a lot of us are lacking now. And, if you're not into racing, that's no problem. There's group events and group rides on Zwift as well. And there's also group workouts. So, if you want to race and be a little bit more competitive, you have that option on Zwift. If you're lacking that and you were looking forward to that, but like I was before things got canceled. Or if you're just looking for, a fast group ride on the weekend, Zwift has that. Or if you're looking for just more social, Zwift also has that too. Right now is probably the perfect time to start doing some yoga or stretching because I know us cyclists lack that often. We get so focused on the bike and we're probably so tired off the bike that we really don't spend time stretching and really taking care of our body. I'm guilty of that myself. So right now is the perfect opportunity that if you're indoors for primarily the majority of the day, getting a yoga mat or, just using a towel and finding some videos on YouTube of maybe some areas on your body that are sore is something that I really highly suggest that I'm trying to do myself, because if you have the extra time, it's worth it to do something that's going to improve not only the quality of your riding, but your overall well-being. And if you're capable of incorporating stretching and yoga for the long term and make it a habit, when things go back to normal, hopefully you'll have an overall better cycling experience, just because stretching is something that's so important that we do forget to do often, and that's almost in every sport, but cycling specifically, there's so many things and so many parts of our bodies that get pretty tight, so getting into a good routine is just going to make your body a lot more overall better perform. One thing I've noticed since practicing self-distancing myself and seeing other people in quarantine is that a lot of people are just buying the essentials, which means, there's no more craving to eat out, because that's not really encouraged. So this is the perfect time to really, critique your diet and maybe make those improvements that you're, planning on doing ever since New Year's. This is the perfect opportunity, since, shopping is not going to be as frequent as you might have done it regularly. So, this is the perfect opportunity to see what things you could have changed when you, originally maybe made those New Year's resolutions that you maybe kind of slacked off on, and kind of get right back on track. And hopefully, like I said, when the season does pick up again, you make those long-term improvements that are gonna, translate to you being an overall fitter cyclist. Now, I wouldn't say to run out and grab these items right away, but these are things that you should have at your disposal, because these are important if you do plan on doing a lot of riding indoors or just in general. Those are anti-chafing cream, which, if you're not familiar, if your shorts are rubbing against your skin over a long time, it can get agitated and get pretty sore. So that cream actually creates a nice smooth layer, and that's one thing that you should have on stock, because you don't want to run out of that, because it can make riding very unenjoyable. And the second thing I would suggest having is bike lube, because after a while your chain will get dry, so being able to reapply lube is going to make the riding quality and save your group set as well. So I wouldn't say rush out and buy a lot of those things, because they take a while to use up. But just having those things ready at your disposal is something that's important, because you don't want to be in a situation where, for whatever reason, there's a delay and you're riding on a dry chain, or you're riding without anti-chafing cream, because that can be very unenjoyable. Now, the following tips are just some overall tips I want to include in this video, so here they are. Try to get your ride done right in the morning, because you have a lot of free time now and you probably have other things that you would like to catch up on. Getting the ride done first thing in the morning is going to make you feel very rejuvenated, fresh, ready to go, ready to conquer the day. So I myself, got into a pretty bad habit at times of leaving my ride pretty late, but now with all this extra time, I can go to bed on a reasonable time and get my ride done right in the morning, which sets up the rest of the day to be very productive. So making that adjustment will be very beneficial, rather than dreading the ride. It's the first thing you tackle in the morning, and you feel amazing after you accomplish it. So you heard me talk about Zwift and the ability to race against other people, ride with other people in group rides or group workouts. But if you don't have access to that, but you still have an indoor trainer, one thing that I suggest is watching Netflix or watching some type of entertainment, either YouTube, an audiobook, just something that actually helps you pass the time and stay engaged. A lot of the riding is going to be either in zone 1 or zone 2, so you don't have to be super focused on what type of training you're doing. And if you still have, for whatever reason, time constraints because you're still working from home, then doing structured training, as mentioned before, is going to be a very easy way to pass the time, because you're only going to be on for maybe 45 to an hour, very hard, which is very efficient, because then you don't have to spend a lot of time on the bike. I mentioned before that I'm going to tailor my training back to base training, and that's just because there's no events in the immediate future that I'm looking to participate in. But that doesn't mean I'm still not going to do intervals here and there and have some form of structured training. I do plan on racing, and I do plan on doing some hard workouts at least 2 to 3 times a week to keep my fitness at the level it is and improve in other areas that I do want to improve. But it's going to be ongoing, because depending on when the next event, or even if there's an event this season, I want to tailor my current fitness to that event. So it's an ongoing thing, where before I could really plan, I was planning at least 3-4 months ahead, because I knew the dates of the races that I want to participate or the events I want to participate. Since everything's indefinite now, I can't really do that. So I rather be very general and just have a very good level of fitness, rather than tailor it like I was for certain events. So it's just an ongoing thing that can change whenever news comes out. I really hope these tips and suggestions helped you guys refocus your mindsets and stay motivated and inspired to continue your cycling training. I know we're in unpredictable times, and I've seen my fair share of pro riders just training indoors as well. So we are pretty limited with the amount of opportunities we have to continue our training. I do believe with all this extra time, we're all capable of becoming a fitter, stronger, more socially connected cyclist. And once things do get back to normal, I hope we don't take things that we might have taken for granted, such as races, cycling events, or even group rides for granted. Those, are the fundamental things that hold the cycling community together. So it's so important that now, since we don't have that, we do everything that we are capable of doing to really hold, those connections in place. And one thing that I see doing that is Zwift at the moment. That's the best thing I can think of. So don't hesitate whatsoever to jump on Zwift and give that a try, because I myself am finding it pretty much the only way I can really cope with this situation. So I really hope all these tips and suggestions help, because this is what I'm going to be doing for the indefinite future. If you guys did enjoy the video, please like the video. It really helps with the channel. As I said before, subscribe. I'm going to be posting a lot more content as I have a lot of time now. And until the next one, keep on pedaling.